and welcome to 3D Dice. I am Celeste Bloodrain, and today you are watching Let's Streaming Live, where we're going to be doing some dev updates. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of info about all the new features we released over the last month, a lot of them this week. And I would like to introduce our special guest host, 10 Rabid Bears, one of our great friends. And thank you, TRB, for rating in your whole Extra Life stream group. It's really great of you. Why don't you give yourself an intro?
Yeah, so I'm 10 Rabid Bears, as many of you know. Also, you have a spammer. If you may want to grab, I would, but I'm not a mod. So I do a lot of tabletop content. I do some other party games, things like that. I love really all the streaming stuff. So I stream on Tuesday nights. Obviously, today we're doing Extra Life. So 24 straight hours of pure chaos and fun. And I'm having a great time so far, though we had a late start. But it was still worth it. And we're going to be doing some more party games. We got Candlekeep later, which, side note, uses all 3D dice stuff. Just throwing that out there. In fact, we were even talking about we got another in-person stream coming up soon. And the discussion was, hey, what are we doing? Are we using Tailspire? Do we need maps? What are we doing for dice? We're like, well, obviously we're still using 3D dice. So make sure your phones have charged.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a good time. I love doing this stuff. And raising money today for Boston Children's Hospital is something I do every year. And yeah. Kind of all over the place. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, Extra Life is a really great cause. I have donated to Extra Life many times over my life, especially before COVID. There was a comic book shop in our area that used to do an Extra Life day, and all the they would have like a table fee usually, but on Extra Life Day, you would donate to Extra Life to get a table. It was really, really fun. And
I spent most.
Yeah, I hope all of you stick around after the dev updates are over. We're going to raid back over to 10 Rabid Bears, give them a watch, donate if you feel the power of love in your heart to give to these children's hospitals.
We're like $65 away from hitting the goal too. It's like it's really close.
Oh, okay. I wish I saw that before.
And I have some stretch goals too, like, because it doesn't let you put goals ahead of your goal. So like I couldn't do that without making my goal an obnoxious number. So I do have some stretch goals that I'm kind of hoping we don't make, but at the same time, I hope we do.
Okay.
Like diving into a bed full of dice and doing a dice slip and slide.
Ooh, okay. Well, afterward, I was planning to donate to your team's campaign, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you can pull off. So
yep, same.
Yeah, let's dive into the updates. So we released this week a layout of our dice room. So I'm going to show you here. You click on Roll Dice. This is our new dice room layout. We've gotten a lot of feedback from folks over the course of 2 years now that we've been up, and what you can see here is we've added a new section here for the roll results. Their roll log here doesn't now go over your dice, so you can roll your dice. They never slide underneath, and you so that you can't see them. We've also added some new buttons, like you can pick up dice by the roll. So I personally love seeing the dice. So I tend to turn off in my interface dice auto pickup and dice auto clears. So this is a feature that's close to my heart, so that I can roll some dice, leave them down, and then pick them up later. All right, so we could. And then we'll show you the settings menu in a second. And if I hadn't done that, go click pickup. Another change that we did is we redid the settings menu, hopefully to get things a little cleaner for everyone. And one of maybe I could show, maybe TRB, you can help me show this. One of the things that we
Sure.
added is a better way to understand like how overrides of the settings work. So
Cool.
might you have a a room?
I do actually. I was just opening a room so I could play in it a little bit and see the settings myself. But my page just timed out. Not you guys, not a you thing. There's a me thing. So I'm just reloading it now. All right, settings. Here we go. Oh, every time I click it, it's timing out. Very weird.
Oh. Okay, well, actually, let's edit this a little bit.
Yeah. So every time I click it, it's giving me a white screen.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'll try to figure that out, what's going on there later. I just realized I was showing my room link. So let's, edit this a little bit.
Yeah, let's hide that.
Let's hide that, yeah. Shh, everyone. Okay, so, well, maybe I'll try to find a way to demonstrate. Oh, I know what I could use. I could use the that role room we were using at the beginning, at the start, over our start. So I'm not the owner of that room. So if I click on settings here and I click on, let's say, show role log, we'll go no, we'll save. It shows that I've overridden this setting. So the GM is allowed to choose the basic settings for the room. And there are some settings that you are allowed to override. The point of this is so that if your screen is different than the GM screen, you want dice that are humongous, right? You can set your dice to be, well, let's go with medium, won't go super large. And that doesn't affect everyone else's. And so it shows us here that this is overridden. And another feature here is we've cleaned up how the users are shown. In the past, this could like take up the entirety of your header, push things off the screen if there were lots of people in your room. Now it's nice and together. It just shows you up in the corner for the basic one. And when you click on it, you will then see this pop up of all the people in your room.
Look at that.
Kick these randos out. Those randos were me. Don't worry.
One of them might be me.
One of them might have been you. Okay, and then you also saw there we got nice.
Oh wait, no, you're back in your room. Never mind.
Yeah, back in my room. Yeah, we also got nice toast messages to let you know when actions occur. One of the pieces of feedback that we got was that it was not obvious how to change what dice were in your tray for a lot of people. So we moved the button up here to be with the rest of the buttons. And now it looks like a die instead of a bunch of boxes.
Yeah.
Right. So
I was confused because I went to go replace my dice. I'm like, wait, where's the button?
Well.
And I found that. Yep.
And you found it. There you go. Yep. Right. Perfect.
No, it's
glad
great.
that you did. And one of the other really fun things before we move on to that, we also changed how to do the streaming tools. So you click on here and you can see the stream things. Only the GM can now access the stream settings, and you can click on these to get your room link. And we've blurred them out so that if you happen to click on it on stream like I just did, nobody can see the sensitive information.
Right.
And
I like that feature.
Right?
Yep.
And we also added this little advertisement for our Twitch extension, which we had been doing a not so great job of promoting in the past. So now if you come here to click on our Twitch settings, you can see them.
Yeah. I actually was just messing with that. Like right before you started talking about it, I clicked on it. It's like, I'm going to go check that out again. Make sure it's the same thing I think it is. And it is.
There you go. Super cool. And also, one of the key things that we did here is that we re-architected our code using a set of reusable components. For those developer types, you'll know how important that is, and this allows us to reuse them pretty much everywhere. And to be quite frank, we didn't build the new room layout first. We built the Owlbear Rodeo extension redesign first, and then reused most of those components for the roll room, and it was pretty like rapid being able to relay out the room. Yeah. So TRB, any questions you might want to ask about the room relayout and the changes before maybe I switch over to talking about the Owlbear Rodeo extension?
Not really, because most of my questions you've kind of addressed, and looking at it firsthand, like I'm able to kind of see what I wanted to see. It's funny. It's really interesting for me because I think I'm one of the people who's given you a lot of these little things that I'm seeing now. I'm like, hey, it'd be really nice to see this or that or this, or and I'm seeing a lot of them, and that's really cool for me. I don't know if I was the one who made any deciding factors, and I'm not going to take credit for it all, obviously, but it's cool to see things that, like, when you suggest them, they come to fruition in any respect. So I'm a big fan of all of these changes, like a really big fan. And I already was a big fan anyway.
I'm very glad. I know that, like, you and others, well, we at 3D Dice, we really love people who come by our Discord to give us, I'm going to put that in the chat too, to give us feedback. We love the feedback. You know, we have our own ideas about what should be in the app and how things should work, but you, the users, are the real people who know the most about what the app needs to be. So we really appreciate when you come give us feedback. And as I think you just probably heard, like, 10 Rabbit Bears is one of those people. He gave us the feedback, and we've done our best to respond, and we would love more feedback from everyone.
Feedback is amazing in any respect. I'm always a fan of that.
Yeah, and thank you all for all of you who come and do it for us. So, okay, let's move on to the Owlbear Rodeo extension. And talking about that, we got a chatter. Excuse me if I mispronounce your name. Dakapa, you say the Owlbear Rodeo extension is awesome, and this is one of those great moments about feedback. Dipaka, if you are who I think you are, you have given us so much feedback about the Owlbear Rodeo extension. We really owe you a lot. We released it in a beta mode earlier in the month, and we got so many great people on our server who've been giving us feedback. And we've been iterating really fast, and we plan to continue to do that. So this is a great segue. Let's move over. So here's my Owlbear Rodeo profile, and I got my Owlbear Rodeo room here. I have totally uninstalled the extension to show you all how to set it up for the first time as well. So we click on Add Extent. Oh, wait. We got to go to the extensions section of Owlbear Rodeo. You can see us here. We copy our install link, go back to my Owlbear Rodeo profile, paste it in. 3D Dice, we add it. Go to my Owlbear Rodeo game. Click on this, and I'm going to click on Save. I'm going to start my game up. So TRB, I'm going to send you the link to my Owlbear Rodeo game on Discord, and you can join it as well.
This is amazing because I actually have no idea what this is, to be honest.
Oh, you don't know what Owlbear Rodeo is? So Owlbear Rodeo is a lightweight VTT. They focus mostly on the map aspect. So you can upload a map, you can build maps out of different tiles, and they have a bunch of tokens that you can use to drag around on your map. Very lightweight. Yeah, right? And up here, we got our 3D Dice extension. So
look at that.
Yeah. So I can come in here, I can activate my thing. I'm now
I will say
activated.
I am a big fan of the activation thing that it automatically put the code in.
Oh, there you go. Ours has
Big fan.
that. Big fan? I'm glad. And we've had some issues in the past with our login flow in Owlbear Rodeo. If anyone's interested, I'm happy to get into the technical details, but I blame cookies and people who abuse cookies. So browsers have been getting stricter and stricter. We've been using cookies, and it hasn't been working anymore. So we developed this new login flow that's hopefully secure. Well, not hopefully, it's secure. It sends you over to our thing and hopefully gets around the issues that we've been experiencing with browsers and cookies by not using cookies at all. So if you do experience any issues with our new login flow, love to hear you over on Discord. We also have a Reddit channel. Let me just post all our socials. Where you can give us feedback there as well. We're also on Twitter, also known as X now. And we do have our YouTube channel where you can come and see some of our demo videos. Our demo videos are now all out of date, but they will have some new ones soon as I make some videos to demonstrate these. So it looks like you were able to log in quite quickly.
Yeah, it was very easy.
Yeah. So we have our whole very similar interface here. Look at this. We can roll all of our nice dice. Roll. We have our same dice picker that we have in the room. It's exactly the same. So the nice thing about this is that it reuses all the same patterns that you'd be used to in our normal 3D dice roll room here as well, embedded inside of Owlbear Rodeo. And then this connects everywhere. So Owlbear Rodeo doesn't have any character sheets. Because of our browser extension, we integrate with D&D Beyond, Path Builder 2e, as well as other tools. If you have your Pathfinder character in Path Builder 2e, you can roll from there over into Owlbear Rodeo, as long as you're all linked up to the same room. Yeah.
This is really cool.
Right? I think so. So we got our settings menu here. I'm going to change my room to be my normal room with my castle background, and it should automatically have switched you to. And now
I accidentally hit a button, so it booted me. I'm coming back in now.
Sorry. Oh, it's okay. Right. So then, boom, we can see our rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I need to give it a little kick.
I just gotta put my dice back.
Yeah. Keep the roll. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So another thing that we released recently is an update to our SDK. For those of you, and also our API. For those of you who play Pathfinder, you're gonna love this. We haven't been able to support multipliers up until now, and we released a feature in our backend where you can specify certain dice to be multiplied, and one of our goals was to be able to support the critical hits that that Pathfinder needs. So if you've played Pathfinder, oh, here, look, my room settings. I'm gonna put auto clear back on. Let's see. Dice, disable shadows, outlines, pick up dice. Before next roll, auto clear dice. We'll do 10 seconds. Okay, pick up. So what we allow now is we have a scheme where you can specify modifiers. And I want to show you this in action. So this has not been released yet, but this is something that I'm going to put up onto the extension stores, Chrome, Firefox, IE, Microsoft Edge store.
Cool.
is an update to our browser extension to be able to take advantage of the multiplier. So here is the beta version of Path Builder 2e, not the regular version. We've been working with the Path Builder 2e folks to better expose from their site how the die rolls work so that our browser extension can hook into that to get more information, because Pathfinder Critical specifically are rather complicated. Have you played Pathfinder much, TRB?
First edition, I played a ton. Second edition, I have not even a little bit, but I've read a little bit about it, so I know I'm familiar. At least.
Okay. So the rapier has the deadly property, which gives you an extra d8 when you roll for critical damage. However, that doesn't get multiplied. So your roll equation is something like 1d6 times 2 plus your bonuses times 2 plus an extra d8.
Plus a d8. Yeah.
Plus a d8. Yeah. And so the old Path Builder interface didn't expose that information. So if you'll notice, if you go there, the critical hit button gets disabled. But now, in the beta version, it is not. So we can roll our damage. For my rapier, it's just a d6. Or we can roll the critical damage, which will be a d6 and a d8. And you can see down here is 1d6 times 2 plus 1d8 plus 4. And if we hop back over to my room, rapier critical, it shows us the same number because we do all the same math in the background.
That's really great.
Right? And we don't show their equation because I put in the that is actually rapier critical. But in the back end, we do have the same math reflected, and it has that same equation where only the d6 has been multiplied by 2. Yeah. So that has been released as part of our SDK this week, and now that that's in the SDK, I'm going to be updating the browser extension, which uses the SDK to take advantage of that.
That's phenomenal. I'm also a really big fan. I know it's not your stuff, but the sheet in and of itself is really nice.
On Path Builder?
Yeah, so I'm, again, something else I'm unfamiliar with because it's Pathfinder related, and I don't do a lot of Pathfinder these days. Nothing against Paizo or anything, I just don't. But that looks really good. And then the integration, like, especially because while you were doing that, I still had the room up in Owlbear Rodeo. So when you click those, stream couldn't see. I saw those dice roll in real time. So that was really cool to be able to see all that. Right. And to know that the math is now doing those with those changes with like the critical. That's really cool.
Right. And you got to see that I rolled a critical with my rapier because the text came through. I'm so amazed at my own self. But yeah, Path Builder 2e is a beautiful character sheet. I really love it. I played Path Builder, Pathfinder 2e with Goblin Tuesday on their stream for the Nilvale Untouchables. This was my first time playing Pathfinder at all, Pathfinder 2e. And this character builder really helped me get into the system and make my choices. And it works nicely. And like this whole sidebar, that's their sidebar. I just slotted, deleted their dice rolling canvas, replaced it with our dice rolling canvas. And in this iteration with the beta, every time you roll a die, their code sends out a message that my code is listening for, saying a die has been rolled. Here are the dice. This is what has happened. This is why it was rolled. And so then I take that information, send it off to our API. Our API does its magic. The extension gets the results and then puts it in here as if it belonged all the time.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, Captain Morgan says beautiful dice. Thank you. Maybe, hey, Tia, you want to talk about the dice that I made?
Oh yeah. Yes, we have some really cool dice that 3D Dice made here that is fantastic. They are kind of Roman style with little extra life dice coming off of them. So these are for people who've been joining or were planned to join on my D&D streams today. The streams ultimately did not end up happening the way I had planned, but I have some other stuff going that should be useful. And then we have additional ones for the arena, which is 5e gladiatorial combat. So it's basically PvP. And the winners got a first place, second place, or third place version of those dice, which are really cool, and I love them. They will get used. They will be put out there in the context that they're supposed to. Maybe not today, unless people change their mind and say, hey, actually, I do want to do that, because I'm ready whenever. But it's up to 14 people. I used to run this event at cons and for Extra Life in person at my local game shop for the first 8 years I did. Wow, Extra Life, that's the word. But these are awesome dice. I love that they have the little controllers with the wings that come off of them. I think those are the second place ones that you have, right?
The one I just rolled is the generic one for you to give
That's
away.
the generic one.
Yeah, so I made 4
that's
sets. Right. One that's for first place, second place, and third place, and then just a less
right.
cool.
These are the first place ones. Excuse me.
Yeah. And then a less cool one to just give away at your leisure.
Right. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm gonna use. I think for the Candlekeep people tonight, and then who knows? Maybe I'll do a little raffle one for one of those. I need a little raffle.
Ooh, that's exciting.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So moving on to the next thing I want to demonstrate. You were talking about the connectivity. This is one of those things that's really exciting about 3D dice, but that is kind of subtle to understand. So we're talking about Pathfinder. We're talking about the multipliers. Well, here's a Roll20 game I set up earlier today for Pathfinder, and the updates for the browser extension will allow you to connect and get the multiplied dice out of Roll20 as well. So in my journal, I made a character.
That's cool.
And I got my Roll20 character sheet. I also got a rapier for certain reasons, because that's the most complicated critical I could think of. So if I click here, roll my rapier. And then, ooh, I did not see it roll for me. Live demos. Let's give it a kick. Okay. But even if you can see here that as I was rolling from the character sheet in Path Builder, that those rolls came through in here. Here's all those rapier damages, rapier critical, rapier to hit that I was rolling from over there have come through over here. So let's roll damage. There it goes. I can roll my critical damage. Boom. And if
this is really cool.
We fly back over to my room, everything's here too. So here this time you can see the equation, because I haven't attempted to try to read the roll intent from Roll20 yet.
Right.
So we see 1d6 times 2 plus 1d8 plus 4. And these are all connected together. And I also packaged into the SDK an equation parser. So if we type in any roll equation here, let's see, 2d20, keep highest 1, it will roll that equation, give us a 10, and then back over here in our dice room, see the equation, also 10, shows you one is dropped. Perfect.
Oh,
OG Frog person, thank you for coming by and giving us a follow. It's a great segue to do. But did you have a comment, TRB, about this connectivity?
No. I'm very happy with it.
Right? It is.
I wish I did.
Cool. Very cool, right?
Yeah. I'm just enjoying it.
I hope everyone does. This is the great segue. OG Frog Person is one of our dice merchants. We have been trying to collect people who are interested in selling digital dice on our 3D dice platform. And we have a form. You click sell your dice. You can fill out to express your interest to us, and we'll reach out and help you get set up. But this week we released our first version of the dice marketplace. You can see our huge banner advertising the TRB's Extra Life campaign today. It's game day. And these
You guys are far too kind.
Well, you're far too kind to us in return. And here are the dice that our first crop of merchants have made and are advertising on our marketplace. You can't buy the dice yet, but you can go in and give the dice, put them onto your wish list. And over the next few months, we'll be building out the ability for you to purchase the dice. OG Frog Person, leader of the Frogs Dice Pond, made these two, oh my God, these two sets are amazing. Both
They
flower
are really
themed,
nice.
right? So I'm hoping that more people
I'll have to fill out my form.
You do. You should. You got your form. You got it. We'll put you up. So let's click in to the ones that OG Frog Person made. This is our new product page, and it's kind of similar to our dice page before. You can see all the dice, give them a roll, see if you like them. There's shows you which dice are in the set. The merchant has a place to put a description of their product. You can upload screenshots of the dice live in action. You can come see all of our stats about the dice, some of which are on our dice pages. And eventually we're going to have the ability for customers to come leave their reviews. And I'm going to add this to my wish list because I would like this die when we're ready to start selling stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and here's an example of what a dice pack is going to look like. This is a collection of 4 different dice themes that all come together as one pack. And you can see each one of the dice sets that are included in the pack. And you can look at each one, investigate them, give each a roll.
Those are nice. Those are
right? And here, this one has some screenshots attached. This is from Handa's workshop. Handa's one of our prolific dice creators. He's helped us fill out our Patreon section that we have in our Dice Discovery for those. It's a thank you for our patrons. You can get some dice exclusive to you. And wonderfully, he's been uploading the dice for us. And taken the step to be a full merchant. Did I just see, TRB, that your physical collection of dice is well over 1,500?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my.
So that's when we hit the $1,000 goal for Extra Life, I'm rolling every single one of them until they roll their maximum result. Last year, I walked across all of the dice, including the metal D4s, which, by the way, that was the only real sucky part.
Oh.
One did get stuck in my foot for a second, and I took an extra step off of the dice, and it was still in my foot, and it was a problem. But anyway, that aside, that's I like my dice. I'm a dice goblin.
I'm a dice goblin too, but I just have a bag that I got.
Oh yeah, no,
I got a bunch of random dice that I've collected over the years of my life.
So whenever I go to PAX, that's the one thing I buy every year is a set of dice. Obviously, then I buy dice in between, and then I have my 2 mason jars filled with dice, and that's why I have the big ones on the shelf. Those are the ones that I use for every year for various events.
Nice.
It used to be when I was in the shop, the local game store, I'd actually bring it in, and one of the little raffles you donate to Extra Life, I don't know, $2, $3, something like that, and you could also put a guess as to how many dice were in the jar, and there would be a prize at the end. That's what you got to do. And that was always a hit because nobody could ever get it right. So many dice in there.
But did you get it right?
Oh, I mean, I had to count it. I had to know what it was. So that
You were the one
answer was.
leading it. That's it. Sorry.
Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to take the guess. I mean, I like to guess before I count them, but now I've got it down pretty well. So I get pretty close.
So Shadow says, I just bought 2 rainbow sets and a random packet ended up being green with purple numbers. Ooh.
She sent me pictures of those
beautiful.
before she bought them or after she bought them. And I told her, like, I love these.
That's awesome. I would also like to give a shout out to Goblin Tuesday. Goblin's dice box over here. These are dice made by the lovely Obtaria. I believe that Goblin Tuesday is planning to do a Blood Bowl streaming event campaign, something. I don't know enough about it. If you do, TRB,
it's basically football with orcs, and it's like miniature football.
Awesome.
That's about the extent of my knowledge.
Okay. And it uses custom dice. So like this die,
Yes.
with the skull and the head and the arrow. Oops. It's a Games Workshop game. So I can guess what the arrow is for. Like you roll the die and the arrow if its arrow is up and it points in a direction, something moves in that way. And she's posted a bunch of different dice sets themed to the different teams that are going to be in that event.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
And yeah, you're right, Beth. He's gonna use or Shadows. He's gonna use Tailspire.
In Tailspire. Oh, that's so cool. So I'm gonna wish list the official Goblin Tuesday football team. These dice are amazing.
I love those.
Yeah. Oh, and Goblin Tuesday is here. Welcome.
Look at that timing.
We're talking about you. Why don't you post a little thing in the chat? Give us more details about what you're going to be doing for the Blood Bowl. And
yes, the literal fantasy football is a great description.
Right.
This got me thinking. So on the subject of fantasy sports, I started putting together with Shiro a fantasy Pokemon league.
Ooh.
Where you would build your fantasy Pokemon team and then battle against the other people. So we started this and we got busy with work and life and whatever like happens with most of my projects. And the problem we came down to, we couldn't figure out a good system to we couldn't figure out a good system to like resolve the team's conflict. You know what I mean? Like, so to put one team against another, how do we determine who wins? And first we were like, well, we could just do like percentile and factor in their speed and all that stuff. And I was like, we could. It's complicated, but we could do it. But now, like, I'm thinking maybe that is the way we go. We were originally going to look. They had a Flash team battler, and it would just run simulations and see who would win based on the moves and Pokemon you chose. But it didn't have all the moves, and it didn't have all the Pokemon.
Oh.
So I was like, well, that's not going to work. Goblin, I would love to quit working. I hate my job. But until I make enough money building tabletop RPGs and things, not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, one day we will all live the dream.
Right.
Yeah.
One day.
One day. That's a good segue, though. I've been saying that too much. Talking about living the dream, we have a little Patreon subscriber goal that I want to remind everyone of. You can see the little flashing at the bottom. I would like to first thank all of you who have signed up as patrons for our Patreon. It's been wonderful and amazing, and we thank all of you, especially for the feedback. The money is great too, because that's what pays for our servers. And we have a goal of trying to expand our server footprint globally. We have many people who use our dice in not the United States, lots of people in Europe, Brazil, other countries, and we want to make the role experience as good for them as everyone. And being able to expand our cloud infrastructure globally will be amazing. But cloud computing has made wonderful strides in making things like this more accessible to people like me. And we've got hobby plans. You can start off with $0 a month, but the leap from one region to two is very costly. So we're hoping that we can collect enough Patreon supporters, and when we get to $500 per month in Patreon support, that's when we'll be able to afford to have servers globally. So there's my plug. I'm going to drop the link to our Patreon one more time. And if anyone is interested in helping us on this path, Patreon subscribers get a few extra features. I'll put them up on screen. There's a set of dice that have been made by me, Optaria, Handa, and the Dice Goddess that you get access to as a Patreon subscriber. Only Patreon subscribers can get these, and you can add them to your dice box. You also get access to, well, let's just actually go to the page where it lists it. You get access to custom room URLs. So if you were joined at the beginning of the stream, 3ddice.com/room/roll. If you want to make /room/ whatever you want, you need to be a Patreon subscriber. When you do create dice, you have control over how they're used. You can hide them from our dice discovery. You can make it so that people can't remix your die or can't add them to your dice box, but they can find them. And that's how we set up the dice giveaways that TRB is going to be doing. I made some dice. I set them no remix. Nobody can add to their dice box, and you can only add them if you get a share link. And that's how we're going to hand that out. So if you want to do a dice giveaway on your stream, or you just want to make dice and keep them private to you and your party, you can do that. And you also get to customize the lighting and the physics within your room. So you want to change the gravity so it's Mars or moon gravity, that's how you do it. And then the exclusive dice that I just showed you all. So a huge shout out and thank you to all of you who have already been Patreon subscribers. And I hope more of you will sign up in the future and help us continue to grow.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
I can say that.
Okay. So at this point, I think I've hit most of the things. I could talk more about the roll math equations and our API and our operators. I'll just give a little quick preview. We allow now multiplication. We allow division. Jump back over here. We allow rounding. You can do roll 1d6 divided by, gotta be the floor. 1d6 divided by 3. And your dice will get rounded. Divides by 3 and then rounds down. Yeah. So Roll20 supports that. It flows through our API and it gets sent out to everywhere. We've got a whole JSON format in our API for those of you who want to integrate that we hope is newcomer friendly. But at this point, I want to open it up to questions from the chat, from UTRB, about what's going on at 3D Dice, what our upcoming features are, or really anything dice related.
What is your favorite set of dice that you have?
In real life or on the 3D Dice?
Well, since we're talking 3D dice, let's stay there.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, both is a good question, but we'll go there.
Okay, I'm gonna complicate the answer.
Okay.
There are 2 dice sets that I've made that are the favorite ones that I've made. I'm gonna show them off because I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
So let's go discover dice. Go to the themes. Okay, this one is one of my favorites. It pulses, it's got the glowing magical core, and
Yep.
it's got some nice sound to it. I'm very proud of these. It's got a custom model. I wrote a custom shader that causes the pulsing action to happen. So cool.
I'm a big fan of that one. Yep. I like it.
Right? And my other favorite is this one, where the color slowly changes. It reminds me of my RGB computer and keyboard.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah, and it's hard to pick a favorite that's not mine. I worry about playing favorites, but one recent
I'll
one.
put you in that corner if you don't want to.
Well, let's see if I can find it real quick. There was one made by Handa recently. This one, That's a skull. I love
Oh,
this.
that's really cool.
Yeah. It's really cool. And the other thing I really like about it is that most people use the dice editor to make their dice, but you can use our dice creation API, which the dice editor uses under the hood. And this is one of Handa's experiments in using the dice editor. Not the dice editor, using the dice API directly. And that made me feel really great.
That's really cool. I really
Yeah.
need to take more time and like get more accustomed to all the settings and making them, because I see some of the things people do and I'm like, I don't understand remotely how you did this.
Well, plugging our Discord one more time. If you come by the Discord, we've got a few channels dedicated to dice creation and asking questions about it.
I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, so come by, ask your questions. I'll answer them. Handa will be around to answer them. Other people will definitely jump in to give you some advice. And we also have some docs.3ddice.com. Maybe I'll just show that. And we've got some documentation about how to make your own custom dice. And in here, we do have some templates that you can use as well to help you work on this. So if you go to face outlines, we got templates that you can use to create your own outlines. We got some outline samples for the numbers. Do we have the outline templates and the background templates? So the way our dice work, I wrote a custom shader where there's different layers. There's a numbers layer, and that gets auto generated if you use our editor. And this layer is special because when you do a hidden die, that layer isn't rendered. And when you click on hide, that layer is faded in.
Oh.
And then we have outlines to make it easier because every face of the die is usually the same. And we tile that around. And then we have a background layer where you can color on your background to make it look however you like. Oh, Handa, you're in the chat too.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Handa, that skull one is amazing. That's awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. And if you do want to check out the dice from our feature creators, Handa and OG Frog Person are both on the list. If you go to the community themes, we have a filter that lets you sort by some of the feature creators. We got Aptari, we got me. We can look at what Handa's made recently. This one is cool. It's all gelatinous.
Oh, look at that.
It's a literal
Who doesn't love a little
gelatinous cube.
gelatinous cube?
Yeah, a literal gelatinous cube.
Now
Ooh.
I'm like thinking, I didn't realize you could do like cool, like the skull, like and the floating ones. Like I've seen the floating ones, but like it didn't really register in my head that they were like floaty because there's no edges. Like I don't know what it was, just my brain didn't fully register that until today. And but now it's got me thinking, like, oh, you could have little like terrarium scenes inside some of these. Like you can do some cool stuff.
Yes, right? People have been asking me for inclusions for a while, and it's kind of low down on my list of things to try.
Right.
But I'm hoping that other people will try it. It should be straightforward. Just make a more complicated dice model with a mesh inside of a mesh, and using our API, you can upload whatever 3D model you want. The only catch is that our physics engine only has a few collision meshes. They're simplified from what our dice are. It doesn't have rounded edges, but ours are just a cube. So you can tell us, roll this like it's a D6. And that's what was done for the skull die. It doesn't actually roll 100% like a skull, but it's close enough. And it looks pretty good.
Well, ideally, you don't want it to roll like a skull. You want it to roll like a die because that's what you're using it for. But
Right. But Goblin Tuesday says that we need a D16 for Blood Bowl. That's going to take an update to the physics engine to get a a collision match for D16. One of our near-term goals is that we want to overhaul our physics engine to try to make it more performant. There are some better libraries than what we're using out there, we think. So we want to completely rebuild it. So maybe at that moment, we'll get a D16 in there for you, Goblin Tuesday. And then Handa says...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking we could do a football-shaped D8 for Blood Bowl.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Because then if I figure out how to do the Pokemon thing, I need to make a Pokeball.
Oh, a Pokeball dice. That would be great.
I got to write that down because I will forget because I have the memory of a goldfish.
Okay, so chat, do you guys have any questions that you'd like me to answer? So while I'm waiting to see if chat has any more questions, maybe I will check my notes real quick and talk about... Oh, sure. The restyled log overlay. So just to put a fine point on it, I haven't used the roll log overlay on this stream, but the roll log overlay, its style has been updated to match with what the roll result log looks like in our rooms now. And oh, I forgot this feature. Now our roll log also repopulates itself. In the when you come back to the room, you can go back and review what was in the log. And here's the dice equation for our round down. We're using the mathematical operators or the mathematical notation for floor, which is pretty cool. Goblin Tuesday says, because I remember stumbling on this little site for our kids and bikes game last year. And now you've exploded. Oh, okay. The question was, can we talk about how much you've grown in the last year? Sure, definitely. So talking about that, we've grown tremendously. When we started, we had very few users. If you drop by on our homepage, which I will bring up in 1 second, when we first started, the bottom of this here, often this would say zero players online right now. And it was a banner day if we had 8. That meant that maybe we had 1 actual party playing. And we've gone from, at the beginning of tracking stats, we've had 5 million dice rolled on our platform.
That's incredible.
Right? 161,000 players have come enrolled. And this number never drops to 0 anymore. There are always people online. Sunday is the most popular day for RPGs according to us, and we've got over 100 games are being played. When we count games, it has to be 3 people have rolled in a room, and that's a game, and not just one person coming by. And at the beginning, it was maybe we had 1, and we've gone from 2 or 3 streamers who used us on stream. Goblin Tuesday, you're one of those. To now we've got, I haven't even counted, but you come to our live page. These are all the people who've streamed 3D Dice that we know about. And this is just the last day or two. This page fills up really fast and goes by really quickly. And it's been amazing. We just keep growing and growing. And we got nominated for an Emmy Award this year.
Which was awesome.
Awesome. It was a pleasure to be nominated. Yes.
You have a question in chat I'd like you to read, but also after that, do you have any plans for what happens when you hit 100,000 rooms? Because you're approaching 90.
Ooh, I had not planned. We do not have a celebration plan for 100,000 rooms.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to read the question in chat. I don't know if the place right for this question, I recently had tried to enter in a room created in Tailspire mod in the D&D Beyond Chrome extension, and I cannot join. Any clue? Ooh, I do not know. Oh, I was supposed to show the Tailspire extension. Why don't we show that now? I'm not sure, but if you come and drop by in Discord after stream, I will do my darndest to help you get set up. And then if we discover what the issue is, we will push out an update for you. I really do want the Tailspire extension to work. So I knew there was something I was forgetting. Let's go switch over to Tailspire and let's look at that. Okay, and then
while you're bringing that up, just to throw this out there too.
Yes.
Since we've been talking about all the people who use 3D dice, tonight at 7:30, 8 o'clock, Grimbeard Adventures, including myself and Shadows, who's also in chat, we do a Candlekeep game, which is D&D 5e, every other week. And tonight is one of those nights that partners with Extra Life really well. So you could actually see this. We're all using 3D dice in it. We use the integrated one you're about to show here. I also have it on my Stream Deck, which is my favorite integration, to be honest. But it's just so convenient to just boop, here's my button, done. Like anyway, but yeah, so there's a lot of different ways if you want to see it working too, and like talk to other people who also use it regularly. Like those are some great places you can also chat with, as well as the Discord and here, obviously.
Let's see. Yeah, it is my fireball button. Yeah. Okay, so this is our Tailspire integration. It looks strikingly similar to Owlbear Rodeo because of our reusable components. One difference that you'll see, though, is that the roll results show up in your chat log. How do I? Okay, I'm not
that one. Yep.
I'm not a super user of Tailspire. How do I get this to go away? This bottom
spacebar.
Spacebar. But I got rid of my chat. There we go.
Oh,
haha.
Yeah.
That's what I want to get rid of.
That one. Yep.
Yeah. So you see in the chat when I roll a die, it will stick it in there. Oh, that rolled the wrong die. There we go. So that everyone can see what you have rolled, and they don't have to have the symbiote window itself open. So if I were to press my fireball button, it will show up into the chat, even though I have the symbiote closed. And our login procedure is identical to what Owlbear Rodeo uses. I'll just show it to you now. We're going to log out. We got my code. I'm going to activate. Click submit. It puts me right back in there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That was when this first came out. That was the one hard part, was getting it just to connect again. But that is so much simpler.
Right.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, it was, because we were doing lots of strange things to try to get it to work, but also in the intervening time, Tailspire made an update so that you can make that little pop-up window to do your authentication in. So before I was like navigating away from the extension, it's basically a browser that's stapled onto your Tailspire, navigating to our homepage. You'd have to log in there and we'll try to navigate you back correctly. And again, we were storing the session in cookies to keep your login, and every browser handled them differently. And then sometimes some services would say, oh no, we don't recognize this browser, Tailspire, what's that? We're not going to let you log in.
But that's that pop-up makes it so much better.
Right. So like now, if you do encounter that issue, and let's say, I forget which service it was, but one of the ones that we support, I'm going to make it up, Steam. If Steam says, I don't know what Tailspire is, I'm not going to let you log in, you can go to 3ddice.com/activate and physically type in your code if you have to. Log in there, activate, and then just like on your TV or set-top box, when you activate with YouTube or Spotify or anything that works like that. Yeah. Okay,
awesome.
great. So I think we've covered all the things. We've gone for about an hour. TRB, I know you've got some extra life fundraising to get back to. So let's go over and raid back over to the 10 Rabbit Bears channel. I'll see you all over there. And any of you who want to continue this discussion or need help getting your Tailspire set up, meet me over in Discord. Give me an @ I like it when there's @ so I know to give it a look. And talk to you all next month.
Yeah.
All right. Raid in progress. So, I'm so close to my follower goal. I just noticed.
I was actually sharing it.
it.
I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, we're right there.
Right
I actually
there.
was sharing it around and just being like, hey guys, go.
Come on. Goblin Tuesday is the best at getting people to follow. Well, see you all back on TRB's channel. Goodbye.